Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday to each and every one of you. Thank you all for joining us today. I am Iris Owens, your host, and welcome to the Autopsy of Her, Healing, Evolving, and Resiliency. I am so excited today, but first let me introduce my co-host and my beautiful sister. Good morning, honey bunny. How are you?
Good morning, honey bunny. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I am doing
That's
great.
great. So
And
am I.
so we are excited, guys, because today we literally have my baby, our baby, but not a baby anymore, Miss Isabella Owens joining us today. Good morning.
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. I
Wonderful.
just woke up like 30 minutes ago,
Yeah,
but
I
I
wish your
did make
mama
sure to
busy.
brush my teeth and clean myself.
Okay.
Amen. Amen. Those things are important to start the
Yes,
day. That's
Izzy is funny. Uh,
so
Look at
so
Izzy. Hi, Izzy.
So today, and so we, guys, those of you who tune into us and listen to us, we're always talking about, this is not just about us as women, right? But it's about just life in general, but from a woman's perspective. And so, I'm always talking to my daughter, who is now, a sophomore, soon to an up and coming junior in college. And we have real conversation. So I want to say to you all up front, the disclosure is, so if she says anything that you all are like clutching your pearls, I just need to know that's how we roll. We are, going to tell you on this show that we do not edit, we don't cut. And so if you,
No, we don't do any of
I
those
don't know
things.
what she's going to say, because today's show is, the navigating life through the lens of a 19-year-old. And so it's her perspective. It is, my grandma used to say, and my mother always says, that we are all here with the younger folks, right? And it's like, this is their world and we're just asking them to be able to live in it. So we're going
Basically.
to have a candid conversation with my Izzy about what life is like and navigating life as a 19-year-old. So Isabella, where would you like to start?
I'll start with I guess like starting college, of course. So I guess like first things first is if anybody else is also like my age, they understand like the whole starting college and not knowing like where you stand on the adult spectrum. Cause like you have all these adults like still telling you what to do all the time and like, of course, like I do, paying my entire life function. So, you get like your one or two adult things. My most adult thing right now is like paying my Spotify bill. So, you're like trying to navigate like, okay, if I can pay this one bill, like what's it going to be like when I have like other bills? So, like I find myself a lot like calculating what I'm making in a month and then being like, oh, okay, this is what I make in a month. This is going to be my bank account in a month. So mostly, what other subscriptions can I add to my bank account so I can afford those things, I guess. And then I would say like that's like my most adult thing I do right now, like trying to find like what I can pay for, what I can afford right now. And then of course also worrying about when I stop being 19, what I can afford in the real world.
But you do work. You have a job
I do work. I do
and you
for
want to
fun.
work. Do you
Yeah,
have to work?
no, not at all. But I do love a good job.
And why do you have a
I'm
job,
listening. I gotta
Isabella?
cut off my camera for 1 second. I'm listening.
Why do you have a job?
I have a job because, I think when I don't have a job, I get really bored in my room and then I sit there and my brain starts to rot and I go numb
Okay. Okay.
because I lack social interaction and going outside.
Okay, you lack social interaction. So talk a little bit about that, because you and I talk about that a lot, about social interaction, because you are very much you're funny as heck. Like, you're a great person. I've watched you in relationships with your friends. You're a great friend. You're a great support to your friends. But yet you are that individual who you will be like, yeah, I don't need friends. Like, you're like, I have a friend or I have two friends and you're good. So elaborate a little bit on your mindset as it relates to social interaction.
I don't have a high tolerance for people. Like, and I think that's like a combination of like, you know, both my parents, like you, of course, are a very interactive person and dad is not a very interactive person. So I find myself when I do get friends being like, at first I started to be like really clingy with them. I started to hang out with them all the time. I want to like be with them all the time. I'm like, oh, come over to my, like, I'm like, come spend time with me. Like, let's go to the movies. Let's go shopping together, blah, 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 blah. And I want to spend like so much time with them. But then in like 3 months after that, I burned myself out and realized I don't really want to be friends with that person anymore because I don't really like them. And I feel like in a way, I almost like fake myself out for a minute. And I'm like, oh, this is such a great person to hang around. And then I'm like, not really. And it doesn't happen with every single person I'm friends with, but it does happen with a few good bit of them, if that makes sense.
Okay. So you and I have also talked about, and I always say, right, you know, we talk about, so as Stephanie and I, we will talk about, because we're much older than you and we've had much more interactive experiences in terms of relationships. And so, you know, we realize that sometimes we have to give people grace, right? Or that we wish that someone would have given us grace. But realizing that in relationships and interaction with people, sometimes you feel like, oh, I guess I should give this another chance. I should guess. So you're 19. Tell me or elaborate a little bit about your experience as it has been in terms of trying to meet someone or date someone, or is that even a thing, dating someone?
So in this lovely generation that I'm in, like dating isn't a thing. It's like you go through like a 3-6 month talking stage. And then one day somebody's like, oh, do you want to date? Or like, do you want to be my girlfriend? Or not even like really asking boyfriend or girlfriend anymore. It's more like y'all kind of just hang out over and over again until finally they just assume, or y'all both just assume that y'all are dating, which creates a lot of confusion because I've seen so many girls that I know be in that situation. And then they like think they have a boyfriend, but he never specifically asked. And she never asked either because she just assumed. And then he cheats, of course, or cheats, quote unquote. And the main line of like defense for him is like, well, we're not dating, or like, we're not really together. And I feel like it's really hard to date in this generation because of that like mindset, because it's like everything is we'll just hook up, or we'll just like, or no, my favorite one, we'll just be a sneaky link. And like, I'm not a sneaky person. I don't like to be snuck.
So I was going to say, you need to explain for the audience, what's the sneaky link?
So a sneaky link is like a person that you meet up with to have like sex with, but you like, y'all aren't telling anyone that y'all are having sex with each other or y'all are hooking up with each other. So like, basically, if you're a sneaky link, like y'all could see each other in public and be like, just walk past each other. Like y'all don't know each other.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Or like people can know about y'all being sneaky links, but which kind of doesn't make the whole thing of being a sneaky link. It kind of like defeats the purpose. But it's like, basically y'all are having sex all the time and y'all could be even hanging out together and like spending time together, but y'all aren't dating.
There's no commitment of one another, or lack of a better word, no claiming of us being associated with one another.
Right. The guy does not have to claim you. You don't have to claim the guy. And most of the times it's the guy not claiming the girl because the girl ends up catching feelings, and I'm not going to do that to myself. So.
So your experience with young men has been what?
So, for the young men that I've encountered, I have yet to meet somebody that was my exact age. I always meet like a 20 or a 21-year-old. And or my favorite ones, the 22 and 23-year-olds, which I have capped myself at that exact age, the 23-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
But my experience with them is that with the 20-year-olds and the 21-year-olds, they're very much also trying to navigate their lives. as men, but they're very much on, I'm grinding, I got to get this money, I got to get this motion, blah, 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 other than getting a girlfriend, which I completely understand. Like, focus on yourself and everything. Like, you know, focus on yourself first before you focus on other things. But it's like the way that they talk about the girls that they hang out with, or like the girls they hook up with, is terrifying. Because they'll be like, oh, I know this one girl, I'm hanging out with her. We literally, like, she comes over every night. We spend time together. We go to movies together. Like, she's my number one on Snapchat, blah, blah, blah. All this, like, I'm liking all her Instagram posts. And I'm like, okay, so y'all are dating? And they're like, nah, I'd never date that bitch. And I'm like,
Wow.
But you know, I'm listening to Izzy, and I don't know about you, but this is nothing new. I
Absolutely.
never forget when I was probably in my early 20s. My aunt told me a story one day. She was like, I went out once, she was single, you know, and she was like, no, she was young. And she was like, this guy was at this, they were at a party and a man was there. And he tried the most handsome man there. He said, in that room, he was sleeping, actively sleeping with 5 of those women in that room. And but they were doing was that sneaky thing. Now some of these
Yeah,
things
the
have
sneaky link.
titles. That's what it
Right.
is. And she was
Right.
like, "Let me tell you something." And she told me this when I was young. She said, "If you are having an intimate relationship with someone, and they don't want, if you want to have an intimate relationship with someone, and their thing is they don't want nobody else to know, don't."
Right.
So like, a lot of these things just have titles to it. It's the same thing that happens even now in our age group. Let me tell you, you know how many women think they had a boyfriend and they
Yes.
40 some years old because they hanging out, spending time
Right.
together, and they say no, he hanging out with somebody else. Oh no, I never claimed you. So
Right.
you know, you do have to, you know, make it clear on both ends that we are in a relationship, just the two of us, not other people. But this is nothing new underneath the sun. It's been
I
happening
totally,
forever.
I
It's still happening.
totally agree with you. And I've always told my daughter, I said, I've told my daughter and, you know, and my son that, and this is not, so for those of you who are listening, I don't want you to say we're not bashing men. We're just talking facts here. That men, whether they're 4, 14, 24, 40, 64, 84, the game is still the same.
Oh yeah.
And it's not, that doesn't mean every man, I'm not saying every man on the planet is running a game, but I'm saying the game, the methodology, the MO tends to be the same. And if you allow someone to get away with it, they will in fact do it. You know, my grandma always said, if you see a horse, ride it. And so as women and as a young woman, like as Izzy, you know, 19 years old, navigating life and then trying to navigate relationship can be quite challenging. So Isabella, you and I have some
Clear talk makes for clear understanding.
absolutely. So Isabella, you and I have had some serious candid conversations about life and about dating and about sex. And so whatever you would like to share, I'm not telling you what to share. What's your take on how you see what's going on in the world right now? Because as you and I have talked, and I said, man, your generation is so nasty and so out of control. And then you will say back to me, she'll be like, I listen to y'all's music and y'all are way nastier than us. And she said, I don't, and I said, yeah, but I maybe we were, but the thing is that we couldn't listen to that on the radio. We had to literally either buy those records and then sneak and listen to it because those things could not be played on the radio. So what's your take on, you know, all that I just said right now?
what, like rappers in this industry?
Well, no, like with dating and sex and just the freedom to be 19 and yet the what restrictions do you feel you have or that you put on yourself as it relates to relationships nowadays?
I think my generation is very much like overly open about themselves. Like sometimes it's like, of course on TikTok, that's what we're all on. Somebody will share something and we'll literally be like, it's okay to still keep secrets, y'all know. Like you don't have to tell me every single thing about your life. But I think like we are very I think we are very much like overly open sometimes. And I think sometimes it's like to relate to each other, especially since like, you know, a lot of us are very antisocial and have like social anxiety. It's a very much an easy way to be like, you're not alone in this, and like everybody else does this, and like it's not just you. But at the same time, like I don't mind the rap songs. It's a song, like it's whatever, I really don't care. But personally, if I'm saying like oversharing, like you do not need to tell me in the first 10 minutes of meeting you that you just got your back blown last night. I don't want to know that. I just met you. That's great for you. I don't get my back blown, so I will not be relating to you at all.
Said I'm not relating to you at all.
Yeah.
That is lovely for you, though. I'm very happy that you are getting that type of interaction. It's just not my forte.
and you know, and that's okay.
Right.
You know, and that's okay. Because you know, you could be a different bird and it's okay, you know.
Yeah.
I sometimes find myself sitting over there by myself and it's okay. I'm like, yeah, hey, you know, it's okay. I don't mind, you know.
Yeah.
Dance to the beat of your own drum. It's nothing like it. You know, and then you know, when you dance, when you're authentic to yourself, you're a person that's authentic to themselves, you would eventually find each other.
Yeah.
That is all about authenticity.
I tell her that all the time, that she is, you know, I also say the mere fact that, you know, Isabella has had a male interactive person in her life. She's had a father figure in her life, has made, I think, a lot of difference in how she sees the world, how she sees men, how she sees relationship. Because I tell Isabella, and I've always told her that I wish that I had a dad like her dad. Right?
Ronald, no joke.
Because her dad is a dad. You know, he's a dad.
He is a dad.
He is no joke when it comes to.
He takes that job very seriously.
He takes
always
it very seriously. And there are moments.
No joke.
And I'm sure Isabella will agree with me. There are moments where I think he goes far left and he goes far right. But then he's also, when he's driving in the center, he's driving in the center. So, you know, so Isabella, how has your relationship with your father impacted your life?
Oh my God, it's my entire fucking personality. First off, I'll always like, you know, of course, being in college, there are a lot of kids out here. They are very much like working hard for their lives, and very proud of them. Very proud of them. That's just not me. So I will very much say that my lovely papa has given me a lot of things that I very much appreciate and am grateful for. I think if I didn't have him in my life, I'd be living a completely different type of lifestyle. I think he has made it so that I could live a life that I think like a lot of other Black girls wish they could have or experience. Like I've never had to like.
Girls wish they could live your life.
Oh yeah, girls. Period. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters the race, love.
Exactly. I don't think so. Because you live a really good life.
Yeah, I think it's like I don't have to. At like 19, I've never had to wake up and be like, oh my God, how am I going to pay my rent tomorrow? Or be like, oh my God, how am I going to pay like this light bill tomorrow? Thanks, Mom. Love you. I've also never like, I don't have to worry about how much gas I waste driving around for no reason because my dad's going to send me that gas money. And I think in another way, like I never have to look for an outlet for another dad. Like, because I feel like a lot of girls that I know, like when they don't have a father, like they look for a father in other people. And I've never had to look for a father in another person because even though my dad likes to sometimes not answer the phone, I can still call him and he will still call me back maybe 3 hours later, but he will call back. And I can talk to him and I can tell him about things and be like, and I can tell him about the 5th time I had Starbucks this week. And he will understand and he'll be like, you know, you spend a lot of money. And he'll even tell me that he needs a new model. He's been threatening to send me back to the factory since I was like 5. But at the same time, like I think it's how he tells me that like no matter it's a really weird way to compare, but I think it means like that he tells me like no matter how much I mess up sometimes, he's still gonna like be there for me, and he's still gonna understand that like um sometimes I'm gonna make those little mistakes, and that like he'll always be there to explain it instead of me having to run to like another male figure to get the advice I need from him, I guess. I don't really know how to explain that.
No,
But
you said
No,
it well. You said
you
it well.
explained it really well. That he's
And
always gonna have your back no matter what. That's
Yeah.
basically what you're saying.
and that's important. And do you think, Isabella, that having your father, right? And even though your father can be at times, he can be strong,
a lot.
right? Like he could be a lot. Yes, he could be a lot. but you know that it's in love. But when you are looking at or considering being friendships with other males, or even garnering, do you use your father as a measuring?
In a relationship standpoint, like if I ever thought about like getting with somebody or like dating them, I do think of that. Like I put that on the spectrum of like not not of course like, oh, is this man gonna be my dad? But like of course like this is what my dad does for the women that he's with. So like what is this guy gonna do that would kind of like compare to that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And also I've always said that like as I get older, like I don't really need a boyfriend because I have a dad. And I know people are gonna say that like that's weird because like why would you compare the two? But like if you're not gonna do for me like what my dad can do for me, then what's the point of like, you know, dating you, especially if I don't want anything with you, I guess. Because like my main thing about like switching over is like, one, my father drives me around. Are you going to drive me around? Because I'm not the best driver in the world. Of course, we know I recently got in an accident, but I'm not the greatest and I can't park. So like, are you going to get like when I pull up to a
The
restaurant?
practice
This is
makes perfect. The more you drive, the better you'll get. So you want to put your driving time in.
He
But,
drives
like-
well. This chick has driven long distance several times, so she could drive.
Yeah, I have.
I know she can drive. I
She's
believe
just
that.
been distracted.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
But I think it's like, you know, I have to compare almost in a way that I'm like, I guess I'll say like, this is how my dad has taught me to be treated in a relationship. So like, are you going to treat me that way in a relationship? And like, my main thing is one time, of course, I went to a restaurant. I was meeting dad at a restaurant somewhere. I had to parallel park. I could not parallel park the car. Dad, of course, got up out of the restaurant, came outside to park my car. And then we went back inside. It was also pouring down rain. So dad also got soaking wet from this. But I'm like, as a boyfriend, or like you wanting to be my boyfriend, are you going to do that same thing for me? And then also, it's also like, it's not all like always like a money standpoint. It's more of like a I guess like giving care standpoint. So it's like, are you going to, I guess, like care for me the way that I would need to be cared for in a way.
That you would like to be careful. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
You know what I want to say to you? When I say, you know, this is my big thing. You know, words have power. So you don't want to be put out there, I don't need a boyfriend, I have a father. You know, if you want a boyfriend, that's
Mhm.
okay. Another thing I would share with you is, comparison is the death of all relationships. So you can't compare anything to anyone or whatever. But your standards are high. And a lot of that comes from the fact that you grew up with the father in your home, and who's still there, who will always be there. And you see the way that he has treated the women in his life and how he treats his children. And you have standards for yourself. And so, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But because you've seen it for yourself, it's not a fairy tale. Somebody say, I've heard fathers do this because they never had a father, but for sure that's the way it goes down. And that men are capable are coming to the table. If some men just don't know because they didn't learn. A lot of these kids, they're 19, 18, 20 something, and they're growing boys. They're not growing men.
Right.
They're not, some of these boys never went from boys to men. I know men that are in their 50s that are still boys. They're grown boys. They just never knew how to do and didn't want to take the time to learn. So it's okay that all those things, but because what a boyfriend could do for you, what a father could do for you are two different things. All
Right.
those, that's nice, but it's different. So, just say, yeah, I'm great. I have a dad and I have a boyfriend, and both of them will do.
But dad taught
And
her
by the
standards,
way, I still can't.
that's yeah, dad taught her standards, and I think
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
that's the thing that for many women we lack standards,
Yes, we
or
do.
the example of good standards,
But
right?
I don't necessarily think, to be honest with you, not necessarily all of us lack standards.
I
We
said some
are.
of us, not all
I
of us.
no, but I'm just trying to say, I wanted to put something on that too. It's like sometimes, that they would say like some women like standards, but I'm gonna say that sometimes it's that we have empathy and compassion. So we like look at this person, be like, oh my God, he's a good man. Nobody ever just gave him a chance. You
Right.
take that person and
But,
give him a
but
chance.
then
Now you
sometimes,
understand.
but then sometimes you see when you give him the chance, you
Exactly.
nice, then you realize why no one ever gave him a chance.
Exactly.
That
You be
part.
like, oh,
That part, right.
right. It becomes a light
So
bulb moment, but it's the compassion, the empathy in women that be like, and wait a minute, and then the favorite was like, oh, I can, if I could just be there to support him, I could turn him around. I was listening to this minister last night, and I had to stop and listen to him, and he was like the 7 reasons that while a man leaves a woman that helped him grow, helped him in his business and everything like that. And one of the number one reasons he said was that because a man wants control. So if you supported him and helped him when he didn't have anything, now all of a sudden he's making money, da da da. So you know who he is. So when he comes home, yeah, you need to take care of the babies, you gotta take care of the garbage. You still got your things to do. That's nice. Now we built this life together. He said, but if and I already had an idea about this, but if you already meet him and he's already on that level, you know, and you're like, oh my God, I just met this wealthy man, and so you're gonna cater to him, you're gonna kiss his butt, all this kind of stuff. And he said, so they'll go and get a woman, which you see a lot, especially people that are very popular. I've seen it personally that because now this person doesn't see where you came from. They didn't see how you guys struggled together, and how that now that I've supported you, now you can get somebody that sees you just as the person, with the $1 million. And so, they treat you differently. And it was quite interesting.
yeah. So Isabella, question for you. You're going to be a junior next year, like in a few short months. Like it's not even it's like crazy, right? Like I feel like you just went to college, but you have navigated so well. Like I am so extremely proud of you, and not just because you're my daughter, but I'm extremely proud of you because you are very determined, and you have goals set for yourself, i.e., like behind you on that wall is your vision board, right? Yes. So she has her vision board, and I think that's amazing. I remember some years ago, it's a few years ago, I think while she was still in high school, I encouraged Isabella to start writing goals, right? Because I had gone to a vision board party, vision board event, and encouraged her to write goals and things. And so I'm proud of her that she's still doing that. But Isabella, your level of determination is very impressive to me because last year as a freshman, she went to school, she navigated everything. She never called me to say, hey, I want to get rid of this class. How do I do that? What do I do with this? She navigated what she needed to do. She wanted to leave the school. She did everything she needed to do to transfer. She did her own transfer. She knocked it out the park. So Izzy, what is that driving force in you? What, at 19, I remember when I was 19, I was pretty determined to do what I was going to do. So
You are her mother, though, Iris. Let's not forget
yeah,
that.
but I am her mother, but
I'm saying that to say that you have been a good role model for her. You got to think about the determination that you have, the determination that Ron has, and then you put that together, and then you put it together with Izzy's own determination, and now
yes.
you have created this most phenomenal, beautiful human being, which is Izzy.
But
So
I always saw, but Isabella knows this. I from the very beginning, I will say this about Isabella, and she knows this. Isabella was our child that if you just said to Isabella one time something that she needed to do, she never gave you pushback. She never, see that face? That's always the face. The face doesn't change. It's like she's listening, she's processing, but the face doesn't change. So when Isabella got ready to go to kindergarten, not kindergarten, it was daycare. And she was doing pull-ups at home. And I said, this is going to be the last package of pull-ups that you have. And she got that. There were 2 pull-ups left. She never used those 2 pull-ups. Went to school and she never had an accident. She never came back home with a change of clothes. She never wet the bed. She was just that child. She learned how to tie her shoes in 1 hour on a Sunday evening. If you just say to her, okay, prime example, right, Izzy? My best friend says, you're your mother's best little broke friend. And Isabella goes, no, I'm not. And then she thinks, oh, yes, I am. I don't have a job. I don't have money. She got a job the very next week. And she had worked before, but she got a job because she's like, I want you to know I got a job. So Isabella, what is that? What is that in you?
I very much, I'll just say outright, I very much have a fear of being poor. Like I think when I was like 17, probably, no, like during quarantine, definitely, I started like calculating all the things I like and like how much like makeup I buy and how much skincare I buy and what type of lifestyle I want, pretty much. And I kind of like calculated it all together. And I think I found out I needed to make like $185,000 a year to support my lifestyle that I wanted. And from then on, I was just like, okay, can't make any less than that because I need these things in my life. And like I don't need them, but like I very much want them in my life.
Right.
And I just at that point, I was just like, okay, so this is what I need to live. So like from that point forward, I was just like, okay, so I need to do this. I need to like do good enough in school that I can get like a decent job where I want, or like a decent job in a field that makes me enough money. And so it's that. And then also I just very much have a fear, like I hate being called out. Don't call me out. Like if you call me out, I will very much fix the problem the next day. So next time we get into it, I will be like, first of all, I did that yesterday. What now?
Well, that's true though, because yesterday died last night.
It sure did.
That's right. Yeah, leave yesterday. Today is
I
today.
love your determination, Isabella. I do.
I do too.
Go ahead.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
But like, it's fine. But like, yeah, I just, between those 2 things, between my fear of not living the lifestyle I wanted and the fear of being called out, everything will get done. Everything will get completed. And and then the other fear of just like I don't like not knowing what like where I'm gonna go soon. Like of course I can't plan the whole future. Like, I never did that whole like, oh, where am I gonna be in 5 years thing. That stresses me out. I don't do that. But I will definitely like, be like, where do I want to be in 3 months type of thing. So I think when like I plan like I like planning like mini goals, like on like right up here where my paper is falling. Don't look at that. But I have like 12-week goals that like, oh, where do I want to be in this like 3-month standpoint? Like, what do I want to complete in like 12 weeks? And so like, it's much easier to do that than do like a whole like 5-year plan and do like 3 big goals that you might not be able to achieve because like, it's a full 5 years. I just prefer doing like short-term goals that I can reach that will lead me up to a bigger goal in that 5 years.
That was a golden nugget right there. I hope y'all wrote that down because that was a golden nugget. She just gave us a whole new mindset to think about. Like, set goals. Goals are important, but as opposed to this 5-year overwhelming, right? Exactly. Short term, 3 months. So what you say, right? 12 weeks?
Yeah, 12 weeks.
12 weeks. That's really good. That's really, really good. I love that. So
That is. Izzy, I
what
want to
else?
ask you,
Go
what's your
ahead.
major?
It's mass communications with a concentration in public relations right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I changed it for the 7th time, guys.
Okay, well, that's okay. That's
I was
so,
gonna
that's,
say
you
for
know,
the
you may
7th
change.
time.
Yeah, you may change. You get out, you do something in the field, you may change then too, you know. So it doesn't, hey, life is forever evolving, and it's okay. This is not the day and time that you live and die in a job for the rest of your life, you know.
Absolutely.
I mean, our career. You find it, and then you be like, well, maybe I could do this, and I could do, you have options, which is nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Yes.
So Isabella, 19 years old, you'll turn 20 this year in July. Cannot believe it. But what's your look at that face? So
I mean, Isabella, July babies.
that's right.
First of all, you're a
That's right.
Cancer.
You truly are.
Yes, but you're a Cancer, right, Izzy?
I am a Cancer.
Yeah.
When's your July?
Cancer and proud.
I know you're a mess. July what?
5th.
Okay. I'm July 26th. Go Izzy. I know
Yeah.
your brother's birthday's in August.
Yeah.
Yes, on the 12th.
They're all in August except for me.
Yeah. Nadia, Ron, and Rondo are all
Oh, that's
birthday.
right. They are in August. And your mother.
Yeah, we're the only ones that aren't in August.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm February by myself. She's in July by herself. But they're closer together. That's why I was always like, we would go broke between July and August because everybody's birthday is in the same time span. It's like July straight on in through August.
And Ron is a Leo too?
Yeah.
Wow.
He very
And
much
so is
expressed
Nadia.
it.
Huh? I know Nadia and I know Rondo, but I didn't know Ron was a Leo. When's his
Yeah.
birthday?
The 18th.
Oh, so he's closer to
Yeah. So
okay.
their birthdays are Rondo's the 12th, Ron's the 18th, and Nadia is the 28th.
Oh, so
Yes.
Nadia is not a Leo.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, gotcha.
So Isabella, words of wisdom, because you've dropped some really good nuggets, seriously, things that even I'm gonna walk away with. So
Absolutely.
what's your words of wisdom to your other 19-year-old navigating life right now, or parents of 19-year-olds right now? And I want you to speak to both if you have something to share. Those who are in the same phase where you are, but also those of us who are parenting 19-year-olds like you.
So I'll speak to the other 19-year-olds first. And I'm probably going to specifically speak to only girls here. Number one, leave that man alone. He does not want you. There is no such thing as a nonchalant man. That he's not nonchalant. He just don't give a fuck about you. And
Don't I say that all the time? Go ahead, Izzy.
what I'll say, the other thing about us as 19-year-olds, buy stock in a coffee shop. The amount of money we spend on it is crazy. We might as well just buy the damn coffee shop. And that's serious. I'm not even joking. I truly think I'm gonna buy stock in coffee shop, like in Starbucks, next time I get paid. So, and then the other thing is that take your adultness at your own pace. Like, just because everybody on TikTok right now at 19 is like being the most grown-up 19-year-old I've seen in my entire life, like going to New York by themselves and stuff like that, doesn't mean that like you have to also be extremely grown-up at 19. Because like, I call myself a mini adult right now. I still call my mom every day to ask her like what food I eat and what I enjoy. So I think it's like I said, take your adultness at your own pace. Like, you don't have to be a full grown up the minute you turn 18 or the minute you turn 19 or even the minute you turn 20. Like, I give myself until about 22 to get my adultness together. And only thing I have to say to the parents of 19-year-olds, because like I'm not a parent, but the only thing I will say to the parent of 19-year-olds is like, please stop dropping it on your kids like you're the FBI. Like, I'm tired of being at my friends' houses and I just hear, and then it's like they just come in my house, like they just come in and they're like, oh my god, like they're like, how are y'all, and I'm like, who are you? And they're like, oh, I'm so and so's mom, and I'm like, okay. And they're like, oh yeah, this is like my daughter's dorm, and I'm like, okay. And they're like, yeah, I just drop in sometimes. I have a key. And I'm like, why do you have a key to a dorm? What? Like, and I just feel like, the medium thing you could give, like the minimalist thing you could give your kids, or like the tiniest thing, I guess I'm trying to say, that you could give your kids when they turn 19, or like being like an adult, is to call them before you come to their house. Like, or at least let us know so that we can hide all the things that we've been doing before you come to the house. So you don't have to be upset when you get there. Save us both the trouble, That's all.
That's good stuff. Well, let me just say, for all of you who she's not talking to me, because I don't drop in on her. I don't. That's just not a thing. I
don't drop in on my kids either.
I completely believe that what we have poured into our children, and granted, as Isabella said, take your adulthood at your own pace. And listen, at 58 years old, there are sometimes, like even yesterday, I was like, this adulting thing, y'all could have it. Honestly, y'all can have it. Like, I don't want it anymore. Y'all can have it, right? But I can't give it back. I got to keep going. So the thing is that, right, as we have poured into our children, we must trust and believe that we have poured into them well enough that they will make good decisions. That's really important, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you feel like they're not making good decisions, then yes, call them, talk to them. Don't beat them up, talk to them, reach out to them, find out what's going on with them, so that if you can help them, you can, right? But we can't give our children the ability to go live on their own schedule, live on their own time, live in their own apartment. And then when they come back home, we're like, you got to be back in this house at 11 o'clock.
Oh yeah, that I don't understand. That
I don't know
work.
how you think that's a balance. Because it's not a balance.
You can't do that. Yeah, you
right.
cannot do that.
And I know there will be people who will argue with us on that and say, my house, my rules. But also, if you're treating a person and giving them the responsibilities to adult and to be responsible, you can't give it, snatch it, give it, snatch it, give it, snatch it.
No, it doesn't.
Right?
Yeah, like no, you can't. You cannot do that.
Like if they done something wrong, yeah, we got to have a conversation for sure.
I mean, like when Savannah graduates in May, and she has to give up the apartment in June, and so she's like, I don't want to come back home, and I get it. Well, but when I was saying to her, just things like when they come home, her and Savannah, when what I don't like. So just do what I asked you to do. It's not a problem. Let me know what's going on. But what I've been encouraging her to do, I said, come back home, save some money so you could buy something, and not just go out there and put money into rent. I think that would be a really good idea. But I mean, it's up to her, because now, she's graduating, she's with her master's. So she's going to be 23. I'm like, I'm just giving you an opportunity. I understand how it could be. You lived on your own, for these. I think I put her in that apartment in 2021, I think. But yeah, so and I get it, and it's nice to have your own space. And her and Dash are over there together. But I told her, I said that would be the smart thing to do, but only if you could do it. It's something you have to feel comfortable with. I don't know what Savion graduates in 2024. He doesn't want to stay in California, but if he gets a job out there, he'll be in California.
He might, right.
So, right. Exactly. I mean, because he got an interview with Paramount Studios for the summer. So he might not even be coming home for the summer. So, it's like they got to make their own, but when they do come home, you cannot treat them like they're 5 again.
Like they're back in high school. And
and
I know a lot of people will disagree with us, but I'm just saying.
They got to be in the because you know what, my mother, I did not have a curfew ever. I never had a curfew. I just knew what time to come home. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Especially at the high school. And when I was in high school, I was in that bed every night at 10 o'clock at night. I went to bed. Not a problem. So I don't know. I'm just kind of different in that aspect.
Right. So am I. Well, Isabella Jules Owens, we so do appreciate you. Any final words?
Izzy.
What's your final words?
Wear your SPF and showered daily.
You know what? She is a mess. This one. We gotta go. The four of us gotta go out again. Me, you, and Savannah, and your
I
mom.
know. We got to get together.
Yeah, I gotta tell Savannah. Oh yeah, because her and Savion, honey, they didn't even think about it. We gonna come on that podcast. They were like, no, never. But you know what? I'm gonna leave it alone. I could say, all hers kids came on the podcast and supported her.
Don't do that because they will never
That's
come.
not
Then for real.
fair.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Like I said, comparison is the death of the relationship.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So I would do that. It's all good.
Yes. Well, guys, we thank
Lucia,
you all
thank you.
so much for joining us today. We are, Isabella, you were a great, great guest. We'd love to have you back again as you are continuing on your college journey and you're navigating life as a 19-year-old. And so as you get closer and closer, we will definitely have you back on again because we want to see where you are progressing to. Really enjoy that. We just love to see where you guys are going in life because we're so proud of you all, just like we're proud of Savion and Savannah, and we're proud of Rondell and Isabella and Nadia. And so, hey, we all ought to be proud of our mini adults, as Isabella calls herself.
That's what I
The
call
mini
them.
adult. I love it.
Like, yes. It's like, well, we're adults. I said, not, they already know. I told them, like, yeah, you're not really an adult till you're maybe 21. I said, but if you're not taking care of yourself, you're really not an adult. So neither one of my kids are really adults yet.
Yes. Yes. It's when we really start adulting. So guys, we appreciate you all tuning in today. We thank you all for joining us. And we hope that you all have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the weekend. If your weather is warm where you are, get out and enjoy it. If you're down in the south, like where we are, not so much. It's going to be cold. So, but
it's going to be like, well, with 60, it's going to be 60, with 64 yesterday. It's going to be 60 something today, but it's going to be cold on Sunday. The weather's going back and forth.
Well, we appreciate you guys. We thank you all so much. We love you. Love you, honey bunny.
Love you,
my love, Isabella.
Bye, Isabella.
Bye.